What's good, Pauper fans? Bryant Cook here, and today we're playing Cycle Storm. In front of you is a list. Uh, well, alright, so going back to the last video, I decided that I wanted 2 copies of Mystical Teachings, but obviously the list in front of you doesn't have it, right? Well, I've been playing a list with 2 teachings, and it's been fine. I've been playing, 4 islands, 3 swamps for the most part, but the list in front of you is, I played a league before today with this idea where I was like, oh my god, it was like a light bulb one off my head. I'm like, I solved it. So I tried playing this, which was this idea of combining blue-black terror and how that deck has a really good red matchup because of Unexpected Fangs with Reanimator in Cycle Storm. Okay, a little bit out there, but sure. I tried it and I felt like I truly solved it. With like Exhume means that you don't have to play Blood Celebrant, and you can, get back for the Broken Lands, you can suit it up, all this good stuff. Okay. Well, I played this list in a league and it went terribly. Even when I got to do the thing against red, they just beat me anyway. One of the things that I didn't consider is that even when I get to execute the Unexpected Fangs combo, the deck doesn't have a real way of controlling mono red, which was something I just didn't think about compared to the blue-black terror deck. Or if they kill my 5/5, that deck just easily plays another. Where this deck struggled because you really only have Exhume and Necromass. Everything else is just kind of cantrips until you get to one of these, and it just didn't really feel good. So I started thinking about like a hybrid list where you only board into it, and then your main deck is still pretty much the same. You'll notice here I had 2 teachings, and then I started to think about Striper Riverwinder, but it just didn't work. But in this league, I actually faced a Cycle Stormer, Tyrube, who plays in 2 challenges every single weekend on Cycle Storm. They've been on the same list for like a year. They don't play Necromass. They kind of just do their own thing. Props to them. No shade. They're a great person. So one thing I noticed against them was how good Barren Moor was. Both games, they let off on basics and then cycled the Barren Moors mid combo and killed me pretty smoothly. And I was like, oh geez, am I wrong about Barren Moor? Maybe I should retest this. So that's what today is. We're retesting Barren Moor, we're playing Vision Charm, and we're going to see how it goes. So that's what I've got for you. We're up 1 land, which means that I cut the teachings. So typically I play 11 lands with 4 Barren Moor. I wanted to go up to 12, but that's what I've got. So if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions, whatever, put those down below. I would really appreciate that. And if you're just going to say, I want to see the Reanimator hybrid list, no, I'm not going to play those. The list was so bad that I don't want to play it. So we're just going to play a normal-ish list today. Hopefully you still appreciate that. And a little bit of the madman ramblings inside of my head of why I thought this could be viable. All right, well, that's enough for now. Let's head on over to match number 1. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicswarm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicswarm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Match number 1. We're on the draw, and we will keep. We have the Barren Moors as our black sources. A little bit awkward, but not the end of the world. We're facing Walls combo. So this is a matchup where we are punished for having Barren Moor instead of traditional untapped black sources. We're going to just play the island and pass. The Caretaker, yep, you got it. No second land. They're getting in for 1. We'll just cycle the Architects. Lotus Petals, the draw step. Take a draw. We pick up a Theater. Okay, so maybe the Barren Moor's not so bad. We'll go get a basic swamp with this Theater. And they already know what we're on, so I'm just going to main phase cycle. Street Wraith is a reasonable draw. They make a white into Overgrown Battlement. This will tap for 2 mana next turn. Let's start off by cycling the Street Wraith. The Teachings does represent a Reaping the Graves now, but we still need to get some more creatures to the graveyard. Cycle a Healer. Cycle Vantasaur. We draw another Vantasaur. Play a Barren Moor and pass the turn. So I just like to keep note, because this league we're really tracking Barren Moor. This could have been another cycle if it were a basic swamp. They play a Winding Way. They play a Wall of Roots, which can then play a Sentinel. Yep. And then we know that they have Axebane in hand. This is probably my last turn, and with it, we drew Reaping the Graves pretty good. So we have 6 cards in graveyard. Play out the Lotus Petal. Sacrifice it for a blue. And now we can Cabal Ritual for Threshold. Cycle the Vantasaur. This will be 6 creatures in graveyard. Healer 7. Another Reaping is good. Cycle the Barren Moor. Well, I regret playing out the Blood Celebrant early, so that's my own fault. Cycle. I'm going to hold on to that. We'll play the Teachings for Storm. Go grab another Songs. Play Songs. And now we'll Reaping the Graves. Let's start on the top. It's always important to then click Street Wraith as your next creature, because it's free to cycle and you just get a little deeper into your deck. Cycle. Here we go. Okay. Otherworldly Gaze. I'm good to cast that here. We don't really need another Reaping, so I'm going to bin. Question is, do I want to flash it back? I think the answer is no. We'll cycle. Lotus Petal. Cycle a healer. And another healer. Okay, so I think we're supposed to stop here. Sacrifice the petal for a blue. Otherworldly Gaze. We'll keep the Paradark Rituals on top. Cycle Vantasaur. 27 cards left. Cycle Architects. Dark Ritual. Cycle Healer. We could fizzle here if we don't draw into it. This is kind of scary. Cycle Vantasaur. Uh-oh. Cycle Stinger. We fizzled. We're probably dead, and I just hit my mic. Ah. All sorts of whammies. We never drew another untapped lane in that turn cycle. Unfortunate. Ah, jeez. Pass the turn. We're probably dead now. The opponent taps Overgrown Battlement and uses a Wall of Roots to add a counter. 4 mana. Lead the Stampede. I've never seen Vent Sentinel in this deck before. Okay. Looks like they might be passing here. Holy moly. We get another shot. One opportunity to seize the moment or something like that. Upkeep Otherworldly Gaze. Can't believe we're even in this position right now. I feel like we're being given a gift. We're just going to mill everything. Okay, and then before we draw, we'll flash it back. We have to hit it. Okay, there it is. And we get the Repository Scob. Keep songs on top. Play the songs. We're going to slide up my graveyard here so I can actually see all of it. Make a blue. Flashback Otherworldly Gaze. We will mill all 3 of these. We don't really need them. Okay, we'll make another blue. And this is the nice thing about Otherworldly Gaze when you pair it with Blood Celebrant, is that it just increases storm count really nicely. And here, this Otherworldly Gaze milled 6 cards we didn't want. Okay, let's do it again. Yeah, we don't really need any of these either. And now we just have Teachings. We can flash that back. Let's increase that storm count. Grab the final songs. Cycle Architects. Dark Ritual. Songs of the Damned. And Reaping the Graves. Let's make sure to pick up the Repository Scob. Stinger, 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 Stinger. And then, why not? Let's do some Street Wraiths. Okay, we've selected some stuff. Let's return it all. Sting, Sting. We will make 4 red mana. Play the Stinger. And another one. Okay, so stinging it out. Cycle a healer. Heal them 4. Draw. It's a land. We'll cycle another healer. Draw off the healer. It's a Vantasaur. Cycle the Vantasaur. And this will draw the final card in the deck, which is another Reaping the Graves. How crazy. So now we're going to just respond to this draw trigger and cycle again. and that will end the game. Okay, that was game number 1 versus Walls. I don't think we're actually supposed to sideboard in this matchup. It's kind of just a race. We were fortunate that our opponent had to pass there on turn 4. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I probably should have won the turn before. I just didn't happen to get there. Okay, so once again, we've opened up on Barren Moor. This is the downside of playing Barren Moor over Swamp. Although in game 1, we did get to cycle Barren Moor at least once. I think we're going to try it. Basic Forest into Aquarian Ranger. Yep. Take a draw. Maestro's Theater is a huge pickup. We can go get the basic island, so that way we can cast this otherworldly gaze. Lucky, lucky, lucky. You might be asking yourself, Bryant, why don't you play the Obscura Storefront? If I'm being completely honest, I don't think it matters. Some people like playing Storefront because it makes you look like familiars, but Izzet Fairy sometimes runs Theater, so either way, it doesn't really matter. You're gaining some small margin. Doesn't really matter which one you pick. So the real reason for me to play Maestro's Theater is I think it's just a lot easier to say. When I have to narrate all of my spells for, you all, it's easier to just say Maestro's Theater than Obscura Storefront. And with Storefront, I often want to say Stormfront, and I can't do that. Okay. So they said creature here and picked up 4 creatures, but they had sort of a slow start. Well, so do we actually. Let's cycle this Stinger, see if I can draw an untapped land. No. So we'll play the Barren Moor past the turn. And I think next turn I'm going to play the Otherworldly Gaze. I probably should have done it that turn, but I was too busy talking and I kind of missed it. So, oh well. They get in again. Now they can tap the forest, pick it up, and replay it. That gives them 2 mana. Wall of Roots, okay. They use the Wall of Roots. They play a Leaf Caller, sure. Alright, this time we will Otherworldly Gaze like we were supposed to. Well, there's a bunch of untapped lands. I think we're supposed to keep one of them. Cycle the Architects. Cycle Stinger. Okay, that was a pretty good turn for us. Now we just have to hope that we're allowed to untap and win. We should be able to. I'd be pretty surprised if they killed me off 1 forest and play a land drop on a Wall of Roots. They swing for 2, we'll go to 17, sure thing. They pick up the forest and untap with Aquarian Ranger. Play it again. And now they can play the Axebane Guardian using the Wall of Roots. Tuk Rumble Fort. Okay, let's get ready to rumble. Draw for turn, purposely not flashing back the Otherworldly Gaze, because I think it's go time. And we already have Threshold, so we're just going to play this. Resolves. Let's cast another Cabal Ritual. And now we will flash back the Otherworldly Gaze. Love milling 2 creatures here. Think I want the Dark Ritual? I'm not sure. Cycle the Architects. Played the Dark Ritual. Cycle Barren Moor. So this is a spot where it is admittedly better. Play a Songs. And now we can Reaping the Graves. I'm going to hang on to this other Songs of the Damned. We don't actually gain anything by playing it out early. We're already returning every creature in our graveyard, so what's the point? Okay, so we're going to cycle with Reaping the Graves on the stack, so that way we keep the most number of creatures possible in the graveyard. Dark Ritual, cycle this Stinger, Lotus Petal, cycle Stinger, another Songs. So now we're looking for a Repository Scob, Mystical Teachings, or another Reaping the Graves. Cycle the Vantasaur. Draw Island. Running out of draws here. Street Wraith, that brings us down to 15. Horror of the Broken Lands. Alright, so this is our final draw here, because it's the same creature on both. So we get 1 luck here to keep going. Alright, come on, Architects of Will. Cycle. Womp womp. Halfway through our deck. Play the Blood Celebrant, pass the turn, and probably die. Unfortunate. There's the Axebane with haste. Taps for 3. They untap it, okay. They play another Aquarian Ranger, Wall of Roots. So now the Axebane taps for 4, and they can untap it again with the Aquarian Ranger. They transmute Drift of Phantasms. So that means that they can go get freed from the real, and they do. Now they can untap the Axebane. Now tap it for blue. Played freed from the real and have infinite mana. So the question is, do they have an outlet for infinite mana in their hand? We know that out of the 5 cards in their hand, 2 of them are basic forest. Okay, so they have infinite mana. They're making the mana, but they're not showing me the win. Lead the Stampede. And they found the Bloodline Invoker, so that's going to be lethal. That's a bummer. Okay, I'm not going to make them click through it. We can go to the next one. Our next draw would have been Reaping the Grave. So the decision on that Dark Ritual did end up mattering. However, I mean, I didn't end up using the songs, but I kept that Dark Ritual on top, and that allowed us to make a little bit more mana. But ultimately, if I had milled that Dark Ritual, there's a good chance we won that game. Ooh, that's brutal. Okay, well, we get to try it again, and we're on the play this time. Keep. Alright, play the Swamp, and let's just cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands immediately. Finding untapped land number 2 is huge. The Sentinel has entered the battlefield. We draw Otherworldly Gaze for turn. We don't currently have a blue source. Cycle the Architects. Cycle Architects. Pass the turn. Barren Ranger, so they can tap for a mana of any color now. Winding Way. Barren Ranger, Axebane Guardian. Okay, so we drew another creature. We need to start drawing spells. We need to find Songs of the Damned and Reaping the Graves. There's a blue source for our Otherworldly Gaze. Okay. Cycle a Dinosaur. Ball Ritual's okay. They play the Barren Ranger. 4 mana. There's the Axebane. No other defenders. So that card currently doesn't win the game. We'll take a draw. A Lotus Petal. Cycle Street Wraith. So that gives us Threshold for the Cabal Ritual. That was huge. Now we just have to find Reaping the Graves off this Otherworldly Gaze. We don't. Mill all of these. I can burn the Lotus Petal and flash it back. Come on, deck. There it is. We're going to mill the Dark Ritual this time. Put Reaping the Graves on top. Songs of the Damned for 8. Cabal Ritual. Cycle Vantasaur. Cycle the Healer. Cycle Healer. Another Otherworldly Gaze. Cycle Stinger. So we're actually a little low on mana here. So this Reaping the Graves is only going to be with 4 mana floating. Or 6. So we're going to start off by returning Street Roots. Okay, we need to get a little bit lucky here. Cycle. Blood Celebrant is okay. If we can get to the point where we can play Repository Scob, that does get back a Songs. So if we returned 4 creatures right now, we could play Songs of the Damned. That would be a Songs of the Damned for 8. So we'd actually gain 2 mana off that transaction, so I think you're supposed to keep cycling. It's just not worth it. Cycle. There's a break even. Cycle. Cycle again. Land. Come on, deck. Dark Ritual. Okay, so we can Repository Scob and get back the Songs, which would make quite a bit of mana. So let's do that. Exploit the Scob. Get back Songs. Play it for 13. Play the Blood Celebrant. Otherworldly Gaze. Hi-oh. Okay, so we'll put the creature in the graveyard. Put both of these on top. Cycle Stinger. And now we'll target Repository Scob. So we're going to have 7 mana floating. We should be in decent shape. Okay, so with the pair of Street Wraiths come back, cycle. We have 2 songs left in the deck. Cycle. Not going to waste mana on a Barren Moor. Street Wraith, this brings us down to 8. Cycle again. Lotus Petal. Cycle the Imposing Vantasaur. Another Stinger. Come on, deck, please. Another Lotus Petal. Cycle the Vantasaur down to 1 black mana. If I stop here, I can Otherworldly Gaze cycle into Songs, assuming that Songs is in the top 3. Just I don't know how much mana it's actually going to make. Wait, do I have 3 songs in the deck? I've really only seen 1 Songs of the Damned? Okay, I'm going to return everything. I have 3 songs I can possibly hit here. Play out the pair of Lotus Petals. Otherworldly Gaze. There we go. Okay. Cycle a Horror of the Broken Lands. Dark Ritual. Cycle the Vantasaur. I can cycle 1 more time. Trying to get the most out of this mana. Songs. That made 13. We have 13 cards left in deck. 7 minutes on clock, so we're not in a real rush here. Cycle the Healer. Cycle the Architects. Street Wraith. Cycle a Horror of the Broken Lands. There's a Reaping. So that probably does it, but I know that there's still 2 more songs, so let's draw towards those. Okay, Stinger. Just play this, I guess. Cycle Street Wraith. This brings me down to 5 life. Draw off the Street Wraith. Ball Ritual. 5 cards left in deck. Cycle the Barren Moor. Teachings. We'll play songs. Make a blue. Repository Scob. We will exploit. Get back Songs of the Damned. Cast Songs of the Damned. And Reaping the Graves. Okay. So we have 5 minutes to sting our opponent to death. And they got bored and conceded. Alright, we are officially 1-0 to start off this league. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. Match number 2. Alright, we're on the play. Let's try to get a W. This seems okay. We have blue source, black source. We have 1 cycler. We have a card that helps us dig. I'm not going to pretend that this hand's bonkers, but I think it's fine. Let's play the Theater. Auto yield. Go grab the island. Pass the turn. Mountain. Okay, so mono red, the best deck in the format. We have a hand that can be fast depending on what this Otherworldly Gaze finds. Upkeep will play it. I think we want to mill all of these. Draw. That was a good one. Okay. Cycle. Looks like we're able to try to win on turn 3 if we choose. I love drawing the other creature there. So I am not going to flash back Otherworldly Gaze in the upkeep because I don't want to choke off her mana. Instead, I'm going to take the draw step and then Dark Ritual, Otherworldly Gaze, that sort of thing. Interesting. No land drop from the opponent here. They're unlikely to kill me. I think we might be able to wait a turn. If that's the case, I'm going to flash this back. We do not want all of these rituals. I think we do want the Cabal Ritual, but we don't want Dark Ritual. Pass. I mean, if they kill me from 18 life off 1 land, props to you. Alright, well, they hit land number 2. Swift Spear number 3. Chain Lightning. So this puts me to 15. Fire Blast would put me to 11, and then they'd hit me for 9. So that's still 2 damage short. Okay, I'm at 9. Let's party. Draw for turn. Street Wraith. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. We do have to be wary of Fire Blast. Cabal Ritual. Cycle the Vantasaur. Cycle Street Wraith down to 7. Lotus Petal. Songs of the Damned. Reaping the Graves. We do have double Street Wraith in here, which is a little bit awkward, but I don't know. Okay, so ideally here we would cycle into something like Drannith Healer, because then we can start gaining life. Speaking of which, okay, so now instead of cycling, we're going to just return everything and start gaining life with the healer. Alright, sacrifice it for a white. We'll play the Drannith Healer like I mentioned. Cycle. Let's set up an auto yield. Up to 6 life. See if we can get our opponent to misplay here and try to Fire Blast me when I'm at 4. They do not. Cycle. Cabal Ritual, that's a good one. Cycle the Vantasaur. Up to 7 life. Songs of the Damned? Whew! That's a good one. Saying that a lot so far. Architects of Will. Cycle the Vantasaur. So Barren Moor, admittedly, better than a basic swamp here. Another songs. I believe that's 3 of 4. Play the Island. Play Lotus Petal. Songs of the Damned. I'm going to sit on this other songs. Like, we don't actually gain anything by playing it here. So once again, I'm going to wait. 11 life is plenty. Start on the Street Wraiths. Alright, let's get to cycling. Triggers. Auto yield. We have some extra mana. Let's play the Otherworldly Gaze. Blood Celebrant. Yeah, that's a card I'm interested in. My bloody little friend. Cycle. Cycle the Architects. The Horror of the Broken Lands. Drannith Healer. Auto yield. Imposing Vantasaur. Cycle the Vantasaur again. And again. Songs. Okay. So that made 12. Cycle the Barren Moor, why not? Up to 18 life. Drannith Healer doing work. We only have 1 Songs of the Damned left in the deck. We have to remember that. Cycle this. Cost us 1 life. Another Reaping the Graves. Cool, cool, cool. And Imposing Vantasaur. Cycle. Celebrant. I'm gonna Teachings. Go grab that Songs. We've only seen 1 Stinger too, which is a little bit odd. Alright, I'm slowly bringing everyone back. Reaping the Graves is now resolving. Card by card. All that good stuff. We will sacrifice Lotus Petal for a red. Play the Stinger. And let's start winning the game. Okay. So you might notice that I'm like moving around a bunch. I built myself a standing desk and I've been standing a lot of the day. Like, I pretty much don't sit so far. I am someone that suffers from lower back pain, and ever since I've switched to this standing desk, my back feels so much better. But because I'm standing for 8 hours of work, plus, you know, recording and all that other stuff, my legs do get a little bit sore. So bear with me if I'm moving around or whatever. Okay, let's play another Stinger. Sting, sting. Pew, pew. Dark Ritual. Cycle. Cycle. Only a few more left. And just for the sake of it, let's kill our opponent with this Barren Moor. We added it in this video and now it's getting us a game win. Clearly, when props to Barren Moor, that's the real MVP. Okay, so now we're going into game number 2. They are a deck with Relic of Progenitus. It's kind of annoying, but some people like to just disrespect it. I am not sure where I land. I don't have enough experience in the matchup. Like, I've played it a bunch, but I've never been favored one way or another. So it's like choosing which losing plan feels less bad, if that makes any sense. You can board Envision Charm. I think that's completely reasonable. So if we want to board Envision Charm, this is what you do. And then you can board out 4 Street Wraith. But I found that Street Wraith allows you to be fast. So do you want to board them all out? One of the nice things about these 2 cards is that they fill up your graveyard quickly, which can also allow you to be fast. I don't know. I don't think there's an actual good answer. I'm going to try this configuration. Sure. I mean, we don't have a blue source. The Blood Celebrant isn't reliable. This just might be too slow. Barren Moor really not ideal here. Turn 1 Relic. Okay. Play the Barren Moor, pass. One way that you can beat Relic in this matchup is that red likes to tap out a lot. So if you can get them to tap out and find yourself a window, that's an easy way. Breed Furnace. They gonna dart me? Instead they play Kuldotha Rebirth. Sure, they have 3 cards in hand. Draw, it's a healer. Play the Blood Celebrant, pass the turn. We need blue mana, and Blood Celebrant is that. So we kind of just have to hope that it lives. Great Furnace number 3, still 3 cards in hand. Bushwhacker. Well, I'm not blocking. I'll take it. I go to 12. Draw for turn. It's another Stinger. Let's play out a healer here. Well, I'm not blocking, so let's get in there. I need this to live, so there's no point in holding it back. They bolt my healer. Rude. Okay. They have 1 card in hand. I'm about to be at 7 life. Draw for turn. Reaping the Graves doesn't really help. Play the Stinger. Swing. So I am accepting that I am dead to a 3 damage spell from our opponent. It kind of just like, I'm not going to win if I make bad moves, and I think sacrificing your Blood Celebrant is a bad move. I'm at 3. You have 2 cards in hand. Am I dead? That'll do. Okay. Try it again. Barren Moor is super awkward there. So slow. I guess we can pray to draw creatures. I'm beginning to remember why I went to all basics. I'll say that. Okay. I think we're going to grab a basic swamp here, because I might end up cycling this Barren Moor. Mountain into what? A relic again. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Draw for turn. It's another Barren Moor. We'll play 1 and pass. Darren Epicure. Rebirth. Cycle the Barren Moor. Draw. No such luck. Pass. They didn't relic me on their end step. I think that was an oversight. If they tap out this turn, that actually gives me a window. I go to 16. Come on, tap out, please. Synthesizer. Reckless Impulse. Come on, tap out. Great Furnace. Play the Impulse. They exile my Barren Moor. They're not going to tap out now. Okay. Cycle Architects. Really hoping they would. I think we just have to go for it. Ooh, that was good. Cycle. Target artifact phases out. Maybe this line was too aggressive. Yeah, it's probably too aggressive. I messed up here. I was just so excited about drawing Island Vision Charm. Please sacrifice the relic. Yeah, I messed up. I should have just played Island and passed. They did use the relic, so that gives me a chance. Songs. Reaping for 3. I'm very fortunate that our opponent decided to sacrifice the relic. So now they exile all graveyards. And I pass the turn. So they have 4 cards in hand. I'm at 16 life. They have a mana open. Galvanic Blast with Metalcraft. I'm at 12. They have 4 damage on the board. 4 cards in hand. I mean, this seems like a reasonable kill for them. Reckless Impulse into Mountain Reckless Impulse. They play the Mountain. 3 in hand. Darren Epicure. So this knocks me down to 7. I'd have to be incredibly lucky to win this. Draw for turn. Let's start on Otherworldly Gaze. Okay, so we're keeping the island on top. Cycle Horror of the Broken Lands. We need this Vision Charm to be like 5 creatures. I'm sorry, 4 creatures. Target ourselves for 4. Okay, so it gives us a little bit of life. We have to find one of the 2 remaining Songs of the Damned. I don't know. This is going to be tough. Come on. I'd also take a Lotus Petal right here. Come on, deck. We are done. We have to pass. So I can Dark Ritual Reaping the Graves with 1 mana floating, but that doesn't win the game. We boarded out Street Wraith, so there's no possible way that wins. So I'm probably just dead here. Our opponent only needs 2 damage. They have Bolt. Okay, so we lost a red. Both post-board games, they opened on Relic. We almost won game 3. Not quite. The Barren Moor's really hurt in this matchup. It's worth noting. So we're 1-1, 3 matches left to go.
Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game.
Match 3 on the play. Unfortunately, no. Okay. This seems pretty reasonable. Get rid of the Lotus Petal. Let's play the theater. Swamp, pass. Island. Careful study. What are you on? Something spicy? Is some blue-black reanimator? Forbidden Alchemy Mole Drifter. Play the island and we'll pass. Dimir Aqueduct, sure. Otherworldly Gaze. Io, that was good. Cycle a healer. Okay, another Otherworldly Gaze. Are we going for it? Get rid of this. Get rid of that. I kind of want to go see if we can go. Our opponent gave us a window. They could be a Bazooka Bog deck. Let's party. Return some street rates. Cycle. Cycle. Again, cycle. Repository Scob's an interesting one. We would need to find Lotus Petal or the other island. Song's a great draw. Come on, deck. Another Otherworldly Gaze. This is our last creature coming back. Cycle the Architects. Unfortunately, it's a tapped land. Grab the island. We have to pass. Don't bog me. Exhume? I wish I had something better in the graveyard. Healer, I guess. Dismal Backwater, not a Bazooka Bog. In the upkeep, we will Otherworldly Gaze. Gladly draw this Cabal Ritual. Draw for turn. Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Songs of the Damned. Repository Scob. Exploit. Get back Reaping. I lost a mana. I wasn't thinking. I could have Repository Scobbed before I cast Songs of the Damned. That's on me. Return the Scob. Just sloppy play there. Cycle. Let's auto yield. Oh, they just had enough. Okay. Sure. Not going to complain if you decide to pick up and leave. I think I'm just going to resubmit. Okay, so we've opened up a decent hand for game number 2. We do need to find a land plus some rituals, but I mean, it's fine. Dismal Backwater, another Maestro's Theater. Okay. So that means we have Swamp Island. Pass the turn. Draw Maestro's Theater again. Okay. Grab an island, pass the turn. Accumulated knowledge. And they're just passing. They evoke Mole Drifter. Okay. On their end step, we will cycle an Architects of Will into another one. Theater, let's go grab island, I guess. Pass. Another Dismal Backwater from the opponent. Compulsive Research. This person just loves drawing cards. They discard an Ulamog's Crusher and a Gurmag Angler. Well, this seems like a pretty good time for us to try to push the limits when they're tapped out, so let's see what we can make happen. 3 creatures in graveyard now. We need to find a Songs of the Damned. That's a good way to start. Otherworldly Gaze, ding dong. Put it on top. Cycle. Cycle again. Play out the Lotus Petal. Cycle the Drannith. Songs for 7. Cycle. Land for turn. Cycle again. Okay. We're doing things. Blood Celebrant. Let's make a blue. Repository Scob. Exploit. Pick up the songs. Cast it for 11. Let's make a blue. Flashback Otherworldly Gaze. The Cabal Ritual is nice. We definitely want that. Cycle the Vantasaur. Cast the Cabal Ritual. And then we will Otherworldly Gaze again. Put these on top, I guess. And this is going to be a Reaping for 10. Return street rates first. Cycle. Cycle. Keep it going. Cabal Ritual. Cycle the Architects. Dark Ritual. Again. Cycle. Okay, I was going to say let's flashback Mystical Teachings, but our opponent just didn't feel like playing it out. We're 2-1.
you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Cardhoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us.
Match 4 on the draw, Mulligan. This seems reasonable. We'll get rid of a creature. Goodbye, Imposing Vantasaur. Basic Forest into Quarian Ranger. Looks like it's walls again. We'll pass. We can cycle on their turn. Overgrown Battlement. That's a very good start for the opponent. Worried we're not going to be fast enough. Cycle a healer. Okay. Let's start off by cycling this Street Wraith. Alright, I think we have to burn the Dark Ritual. We need to hit land 2 and get a little deeper into the deck. Alright, so we found a blue source. That's good. I mean, I wish it was an untapped blue source, but beggars can't be choosers. Cycle. I think we're at least 2 turns away, so there's a good chance we've lost this game. Winding Way. And they straight up missed. No, I think they picked up a Veilcut Invoker. That was not very good for them. Okay. We're definitely milling the Architects. I think we want the songs. Alright, so we're going to draw the island. Cycle Imposing Vantasaur. Otherworldly Gaze. Mill all 3 creatures. Alright, so next turn, assuming we do get one, I'm going to start on Songs of the Damned and then flashback double Otherworldly Gaze and hope to cycle into Reaping the Graves using the Stinger. Leaf Caller. They play the Veilcut Invoker. Yep. Alright, let's see if we can party. Let's start on the Street Wraith, because it... Okay, I guess I get to have everything. Songs of the Damned. Otherworldly Gaze. Get rid of these Lotus Petals. Keep the Dark Ritual. We'll cycle into it. Dark Ritual. A Ball Ritual. Otherworldly Gaze. Firm is 5. Mill all of these. Reaping with 10 mana floating. We need to return 6 creatures, so we want to return Street Wraiths, that way we can use our mana more efficiently. Okay, just return everything because we're not going to run out of mana when we have triple Street Wraith. Just keep cycling. Another Reaping is wonderful. Repository Scob. We have 2 Lotus Petals left and a Blood Celebrant to cast that. Let's cycle the Architects. Another Reaping. Cycle the Barren Moor. It is relevant here. We hit Lotus Petal. Sacrifice for blue. We'll play the Repository Scob. Triggers. Return of Songs. Make a bunch of mana. Reaping the Graves. This one for 11. This time we'll just start from the top. 27 mana. So all we need to do now is just find the Blood Celebrant and end this. Cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. There it is, right on the top. Love it. Okay, so here's Stinger number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay, so now we're going to game number 2. I don't think you're supposed to sideboard once again for the matchup. Same plan as match number 1. Sure. Keep. I'd like to know, this hand would be much better if these were untapped basics. This could be a possible turn 3. Instead, we're probably looking at turn 4. Basic Forest. I guess something I can do here is try to cycle into an untapped land. No such luck. Barren Moor, pass the turn. Land number 2. Tinderwall. Lead the Stampede. That's a pretty good lead the Stampede. Another Reaping. We'll play Barren Moor. Cycle an Imposing Vantasaur. Songs? Okay. They play Overgrown Battlement and Basic Forest. Caretaker, so this taps for 2 now. Cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. We find a Theater. I'm not going to go for it this turn, so I'm just going to go grab an island out of the deck. I mean, if they kill me from here, props to you. You earned it. Actually, I could go for it. They have 4 cards. Alright, I've talked myself into it. I shouldn't have played the land. Songs of the Damned. I want to keep a blue open. I don't know why I sacked the pedal, but I did. No excuse. Play better. I know. Cycle the Stinger. What's other Whirly Gaze? We're going to mill all of these. Reaping the Graves. Street Wraiths first. Alright, so we have 5 looks here for more mana. We hit the songs. That probably does it. Okay. Songs of the Damned makes 11. Dark Ritual. Cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. Cycle Healer. And Architects. Cycle this Healer. Another Street Wraith. This brings us down to 11. Play out the Lotus Petal. We've used 2 Songs of the Damned so far. Let's cast Reaping. I don't think the mana spent on Barren Moor is worthwhile. Street Wraiths first. That's still the rule. Okay, cycle. Dark Ritual gives us a little bit more life here. Cycle the Drannith. Cabal Ritual, that's another good one. Let's cycle the Barren Moors. Another Reaping. So we have 2 songs we're looking to hit that would probably close out this game. Okay, come on, deck. Pretty please. Pretty please. I'm not allowed to cast this. It has to be off this draw if we're going to do it. Womp womp. I have to pass. Okay, please don't kill me. Caretaker, Battlement taps for 3, taps for 4. They have 5 mana now. Repository Scob, they can exploit a creature and then return lead the Stampede. Upkeep, Otherworldly Gaze. We find a Dark Ritual. Suppose we'll keep that for storm purposes. Play the Swamp. Dark Ritual. Blood Celebrant. We'll go to 4 life. We'll make a blue. Flashback, Otherworldly Gaze. And we did not hit. Still 2 songs in there. 1, 2. 2 and 10, so we have 1 in 5 odds. 20% to hit. Cycle again. No. Pass the turn. Please don't kill me. Lead the Stampede. Drift of Phantasms, Quarian Ranger. Did this do it? It might have. This might have done it. Yeah, I think that they got me here. We just couldn't find those Songs of the Damned. Yeah, they have it. Or at least I think they do. Yeah, but they have the Drift. Yep. I can't believe we lost that one. Wow. Alright, submit. On the play for game 3. Sure. Both players have kept 7 this time. Grab an island, pass the turn. Forest into Absence Pilgrim. Upkeep, Otherworldly Gaze. We have to get rid of the Cabal Ritual here, I think. And then keep the Reaping. Cycle, pray to hit a land. Nope. Pass the turn. Turn to Axebane Guardian. That is incredibly scary. Otherworldly Gaze. We'll keep the Cabal Ritual on top. Pass the turn. Caretaker, so Axebane taps for 2. They just had the 1 of Freed from the Real? Oh, wow. Okay. That's really unfortunate. Like, Freed from the Real is a singleton in the deck. So the fact that they had turned 2 Guardian into Freed from the Real is really unfortunate for us. They just... Oh no, they have the mana off Axebane. So, I'll concede. That's a bummer. Okay. It happens. We are now 2-2? Yeah, 2-2. Match 5 coming up.
Want early access to articles at theepicstorm.com? Become a member of our Patreon to get articles 7 days early, on top of other sweet benefits, and help us pay our website team. You can sign up at patreon.com/theepicstorm.
The 5th and final round, we will keep Mountain, so red. Oh, it's not Mountain Red. It's Faithless Looting. Okay. What are you up to over there? Maybe Boros? Lightning Bolt, Lava Dart. Okay, so they might be Mono Red. Who knows? Play the theater. We'll go grab an island. Pass the turn. The Miracle Thunderous Wrath. Ay, ay, ay. I guess I'm taking 5. No land. Play another Maestro's Theater. Go grab a swamp. Cycle Architects. Pass the turn. They just conceded when they missed their land drop. Okay. Going to bring in Ploy. Board out 1 Street Wraith. I guess I'll board Envision Charm again. Board out the other Street Wraiths. Hopefully it doesn't bite me in the butt. I've also wondered if you're actually supposed to board out Street Wraith against red, or if instead you're supposed to lean into the card that allows you to be fast, which is Street Wraith, and instead take out something like Horror of the Broken Lands. Can't keep this. Mulligan. A lot of lands. Get rid of the Barren Moor? No. Get rid of a Theater. Turn 1 Mountain again. Swift Spear, sure. Let's go grab an island. Pass. They bolt me, sure thing. We'll go to 15. Do you not have a second land drop again? They do. Maestro's Theater, we'll go grab Basic Swamp. Reaping was a fine draw. I mean, we don't have many creatures right now, but it's fine. Oh, so you're blue-red? Weird. So it's Izzet Tempo. Jeskai Sage. So it's Izzet Prowess. Cycle the Architects. We pick up Dahada's Ploy. Play the Swamp and pass. I'm not blocking, so do your worst. They have 3 cards in hand. Dahada's Ploy. Discard a Lotus Petal. I think I'm just going to pass again. We can jumpstart the Ploy. Thought Scour, okay. They target themselves, Deep Analysis, and another Jeskai Sage. Swift Spear number 2. Flashback Deep Analysis. Jumpstart the Ploy, discarding the Barren Moor. Goodbye Vision Charm. They're swinging in for 8 at the moment. If they randomly had Fire Blast in hand, it would put me to 1. Let's see if we can do it. Dark Ritual. Ball Ritual with Threshold. Cycle. Otherworldly Gaze was a good pickup. Mill. I think we want to keep the other Cabal Ritual on top. Play out the Lotus Petal. Cycle of Antisaur. Cabal Ritual. Play the Blood Celebrant. Let's go to 7. Flashback the Otherworldly Gaze. Okay. I think I'm pretty much all in on hitting a songs off this Otherworldly Gaze, so let's just do it. Ah, that's a bummer. So 32 cards in deck, no songs. Cycle Architects, well. So I could be a coward and play Reaping here and refill my hand. Or I can just try to go for the big play, and I think the big play actually has the higher percentage of winning. So let's see. Unfortunately not. 50% of the way through our deck. Did not find Songs of the Damned. Concede. I'm going to board out the Vision Charms. I don't think that they have relics. They're an Izzet Tempo deck. I'm going to just do my thing. I am deboarding right now. The final game of this league, we are on the play. Yeah, this seems fine. I'm just going to be lazy and main phase this. I think we keep the songs and we get rid of the Cabal Ritual. Pass. Mountain into Monastery Swift Spear. Classic. 19 life. So now we're drawing the songs. Actually, I should probably cycle first in case I draw an untapped land. Play Barren Moor or pass. 2 mana for a Jeskai Sage. Ouch. Upkeep, flashback. I think I'm supposed to get rid of the Dark Ritual here. Pass. Manamorphose. Okay. Brainstorm. And Faithless Looting. So they're redrawing the cards they put back on top. Double Deep Analysis. Okay. Lava Dart me. I mean, they're swinging for a lot here. So hypothetically, they're attacking for 10. If they had Fire Blast, that would put me to 1. Dark Ritual. Cycle. 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 Go to 5. Cycle. Let's cycle off the Stinger. Play a pair of Lotus Petals. Sack for black. We'll play 1 songs and then cycle. Term is 5, 4. Okay, so I mean, there's a potential to win here. I don't want to say that we have it, but we can do some stuff. Okay, I'm going to return everyone for now. And I think I'm going to choose to play around Fire Blast, even though I haven't seen it. Might be a little bit weird, but I'd rather just not lose when I can... Theoretically, I have the resources to play around it. Cycle, cycle. The Ball Ritual's a great draw. Cycle the Vantasaur. Up to 8. Cycle Street Wraith. And again. Play out the land. Let's play Blood Celebrant and then Reaping the Graves. Okay, so now we're returning. Cycle Street Wraith. Return a couple more. Cycle Street Wraith. I just want the option to play around Fire Blast. Dark Ritual. Cycle. Again. Okay, come on. Give me songs. Unfortunate that if this was one draw earlier, we could have cast it for songs. Cycle the Stinger. Scob doesn't help. Vantasaur. There we go. That does it. Cycle the Healer. We've won this now. Cycle again up to 11 life. Just keep cycling. Lotus Petal. Lose 1. Repository Scob. Sacrifice. Songs of the Damned. Cast it for 13. Sacrifice the petal for a blue. Let's Teachings. Grab another one. Cast it. Reaping the Graves. And now we bring everyone home and win the game. Okay, so we went 3-2. Not the world's best record or anything. So let's open up the chest first. I actually feel like this league was a little bit of a dud. We didn't really get to use a lot of our board. We picked up a weird looking Entomb. Okay. So we lost to red. And we lost once to Walls. Walls I actually think is a matchup where it's just a race, and what matters in race matchups is just being fast. So we lost to red because we opened on double Barren Moor. I don't think my board ultimately mattered. I spent so much time this afternoon deliberating over the sideboard, and it just didn't matter. The Barren Moors were not what I wanted, so I have a couple thoughts. You could play something like this, where I think when you have Duress in the board, you want 4 swamps. When you don't have Duress in the board, I think you want 4 islands. So the number of basics you play can change based on a multiple or variation of different things. This is 59 cards. So you can play double Mystical Teachings when your lands don't cycle. You could also play a main deck copy of Dahada's Ploy. Up until recently, I've been on 2 Teachings until today when I had the idea to play the Reanimator hybrid. But I've been doing this as my main deck for a little while, and I've been trying different sideboards. You could also go Grixis and have Pyroblast and get Chewer. That's another option. So this is a sideboard you could play. And then you'll notice I have 4 islands, 3 swamps, that sort of thing. I've also been wondering about Mono Black recently. You could try this. I'm not sure how good it is, but it's just something I've been thinking about. I think a lot about different lists or whatever, but I think I'm not going to go back to Barren Moor. It looked good against me today, but I don't think I want to play it. So thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Have a great day. Keep storming. Post your thoughts down below. See ya.
Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.